true Biafrans. I mean, I welcome you to this broadcast. What I mean by special or true Biafrans, I actually mean those people who are standing on the path of truth. I want to especially welcome you and Biafrans all over the nations of the world, including those people who have decided to fight against the cause of truth and the things we're doing. I also welcome you to this broadcast. My name is Kelechi Ambrose, and I am here to talk about something very critical and pertinent. The topic of today, of course, is replacing Mazi Nnamdi Kanu will spell doom. Replacing Mazi Nnamdi Kanu with Peter Obi will spell doom for Biafra. Critically, first, before I go on into this very important topic, is first I want to make it I want to sound it very clear to those people who have decided to make themselves constitute nuisance to right thinking and behavior and good conscience. Those people who are chasing after election, or those people who have decided to make themselves the current Judases of the time, who go after money. All they want is just give me money and let me spoil everything. Just give me money, and they are thinking of themselves. We always have them. We had them in the Bible days. We had someone like Hezekiah, who he did. I'm not saying he was bribed anyways, but when God told him that because of what he has done against the temple, showing Babylonians the vessels in the temple and the wealth of the temple, and that Babylon was going to raid Egypt. Sorry, Babylon was going to raid the temple, raid Jerusalem, and is going to take the people to captivity, of course, which Nebuchadnezzar did. And Hezekiah was saying, thank God, it won't happen in my time. Because God told him, well, I will make you enjoy your tenure, but it won't happen in your time. It will happen in the time of your children. And he was jubilating, rather than say, Lord, please have mercy. Please, I don't even want my generation to come to be taken away from the land. He was saying, thank you, Lord, because at least it won't happen in my time. That's how some of us are. Some of us are just, let my time, let me enjoy, give me the money, give me the resources, let me enjoy this time. And then when it comes to the time of my children, let them fight it out. Even if Fulani takes over their land or takes over their life, that's their business. But for my time, give me any bribe you want. I will just do whatever you want and sell my land to you. Well, that's by the way, but I want to sound it clear to those people who have decided to make themselves, the enemies of the people. I want to make you understand that if no matter how much you sabotage or you try to dance to the tune of the enemies, you can never stop Biafra. You can never stop what we're doing. You can never stop our freedom. As you have been hearing, as you heard from the broadcast of last night of Mazi and Simon Ekpa, we are living in 2023. We are declaring Biafra, and we are going and we are fighting hard, and we're going to fight to get what you want. So if you decide to become the one who is going to sabotage or who is sabotaging, well, the bad news for you is that you can't stop what you are doing. At the same time, you are only going to destroy yourself, because in the long run, you will be killed, you will be either maimed, or you'll just regret it. You will be out of it. You will see Biafra. You will not get into it. That's the truth. So just know that if you have decided to become a hindrance, you are not going to taste of the goodness. You will not stop what you are doing. You can't stop it. That is the truth. So we're telling you now so that you can mend your ways and then do the right thing. I want to talk about this critical topic, but before I go on, I want to welcome you especially to this broadcast. I know that wherever you are, whether in Biafra land or in diaspora, you are desperate for us to go to our promise. I am very, very eager for us to go into our promised land. I am very, very, very eager. And I know that you also are very, very eager, and you are doing what you're doing in your corner, the little way you can do it. One of the things I'm doing is, as I'm talking to you now, talking to our people, to ginger the spirit of the people, to get them to be very, very, very alert and very, very determined to get our freedom. And broadcast today is the 26th of August 2000. A day to the fundraising. Tomorrow is the fundraising for the funding of ESN, the fundraising of by the Umwada, led by Madam Azuka, and of course being supervised by the spokesperson of Biafra, Mazi Simon Ekpa. It's not the other fundraising where they are looking for salaries to pay themselves. They're looking for monies to steal. That's not the one. Sorry, that's not the fundraising I'm talking about. You know, they actually fixed their own fundraising on the same day that we're going to be having our own fundraising. But it doesn't matter anyways, because we know their intent. Their intent is to raise money to fund their killer squad. As the government of Nigeria has given them money, it doesn't satisfy them. You know, criminals don't get satisfied. But we are funding our ESN. We are funding the buying of arms and ammunition to by force take our take our victory and our liberation. Remember, we are not going to no more defending. We're not going to be on the defensive side, even if we are fighting a defensive war, you know, because they brought the war. So we are defending our land in the sense of defending our land, not in the fence. Not in the sense of being at the defense. No, we can't be at the defense. They attacked us, but they are going to now become the defendants. Let me put it that way. Or they will be the ones to defend themselves this time around, because we, in the place of defending our land, we are going to take the fight to them because they have brought it to us. So we're going to go to them also. And of course, we're doing all that. So please join the fundraising tomorrow, the 27th of August, 2022, you know, to fund the ESN. That is the heartbeat of Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, and that is the heartbeat of the autopilot mood, because he instituted it so that it can carry the work of our freedom and do it marvelously well, so that we can get our freedom and also jubilate and rejoice. Remember, I always say this whenever I broadcast. I said it doesn't pay to sabotage, because in the realm of freedom, when we get our freedom, you get enough jobs, you get enough contracts, because the money that is supposed to go out to the Fulanis that they are stealing. You can imagine how much they steal that they don't record. You can imagine how much they steal from NNPC, from all the government sectors, from all the sectors of the economy and all of that. You can imagine the billions of naira they steal daily. Yet there's we're sovereign, we're languishing in poverty and all of that. And you can imagine that. Yet you can see what they're still putting in their accounts, and then doing the little they can do with the little that's given to them in their own place. Now you can imagine all those monies remaining in Biafra land. You can see that there'll be enough business for you. There'll be enough resources for you. There'll be enough contracts for you. That is why, you know, it is very important that you support Biafra and the liberation of Biafra. You can imagine the money revolving around. It will be enough for all of us, because we are just 70 million. Rather than the money going to over 200 million people, it's now staying out. In fact, the money does not even go around to 200, just few people, 5% that are stealing all the money. That brings me to a point. This morning, I saw a particular video, and I saw some of these militants in the Ijaw region, you know, the water riverine area, you know, of Biafra land, and I was disheartened. Now, before I go into the main topic of today, let me just say this. Let me just comment on that. You see, our people are just too shallow-minded, and it's so unfortunate that you begin to wonder: is it in this dispensation, in this stage, that our people still are reasoning like they don't even know what is happening in the world, or like they don't understand what is happening around them? You know, in that video, these militants were there and they were complaining bitterly. You know, recently Asari Dokubo and was it Asari or Tompolo or all those guys? I don't know whether Tompolo was actually recruited for that sake, for that. But I know Asari was given a new contract. You know, and one of their warlords, whether Asari or Tompolo, was given the contract to guard, you know, their pipeline and all of that. And then this community of these people in that militant group, they came to the video and they were granting an interview to Arise TV, you know, and they were saying that the government of Nigeria gave the contract to those people, and when their own community is there, that their own community is there, and the government will give contract to somebody else to come and guard their own community of pipeline, guiding of pipeline. Now, oh my God, a criminal comes to your house, takes over your household, takes over your wife, takes over your children, takes over the house you built, and then said you should be the gate man. You should be the gate man. And then he employs maybe one of you, maybe you are two of you. He employs two of you. He said, you be the gate man, and then you be the grass cutter. You other person, be the one who will be clearing the grass in the compound. And you are now fighting, saying that, no, I am actually the owner of this house, so you shouldn't give me the position of cutting the grass. At least let me be the gate man. My God. You see, our people are very, very, very horrible in their thinking. They were bold enough to talk in that place that they would not take it. They would not allow somebody else to come and guard the pipeline in their area. Rather than them saying that, no, we are tired of this, debilitating situation of always being at the receiving end, of always being, taking the, being at the bottom, rather than them thinking of how do we get to recover what belonged to us so that we can now begin to decide and begin to decide effectively on our resources, rather than them talking about the resources that will favor the people, because what they are doing there as the militants, give us the contract so that we can be benefiting. Then the community will be there. The people in that community will be hungry. The people in that community will be struggling. The people in that community will be thinking of, and those people don't have a voice, because even the militants themselves only took the contract for themselves. And it ends there. The contract revolves around them and it ends at that place. Now, how can we continue this way? Rather than them come together and say, let's fight this together and get our freedom so that we can be in control of our resources. They are thinking of continuing guarding pipeline. They're asking the slave masters, please, why you are supposed to give me the contract of guarding the pipeline, the oil that is coming from my land. Give me the contract of guiding it for you so that you keep stealing from it. You can imagine that kind of level of stupidity, level of self-destruction, level of ignorance, and level of accepting the worst position in your life. It's just like what the Bible talked when the Bible said that the king is walking on his feet and the servants are sitting on the horse, and the servants are just sitting on the horse, and the king is escorting them, moving the horse for them and walking on their feet. You can imagine that grave, grave, grave position that these people have plunged our people into. And so our people have become too much and too low for their liking. For themselves, they have reduced themselves to nothing. And this brings me to the point. The truth here is, it is not about right thinking. There's something psychological about this, and it is connected to slavery and accepting to be in a position of frustration and self-humiliation. It's accepting to be in that position. So they already gave themselves up to, believing that they are nothing. They already gave themselves up to believe that nothing else, they cannot get better. They already gave themselves up to believe that they have to continue in this manner. Now they are not thinking of how they are going to, in this generation where nations are taking bold steps to make things work for themselves, for their community, for their people, and all of that. These guys are thinking of how they will continue to be subjugated and to be put in that position of that beggarly position. So, well, I would want to talk to them wherever they are, in case any of them come across this video. That's begging for pipeline guiding position. Guiding of pipeline is the worst thing that you can ever think of. It's a shame on you people. It's a shame on your pride. You have your weapons, you have your ammunitions, and all you are clamoring for is to clamor for guiding of pipeline. So when they kill you in that regard, now when they shoot you and you die, you will now tell your fathers, your ancestors, that why you died was because you were looking for pipeline contract. You were looking for contracts to guard pipeline. You can imagine how foolish that will be. You can imagine how stupid that will be. You can imagine how, very, very stupid it will be for you to die. What killed you? Oh, I was asking for contracts for pipeline, for guard pipeline. Killed along the line. You can imagine how foolish that is, that you died fighting to guard pipeline. You're fighting to guard pipeline and you were killed. You died because you're lying. Please, these brothers from varying areas. Please begin to talk to yourself, to your brothers and all of them. Every one of them, we know we've gone into an alliance with, but those ones who are still just thinking of how they are going to continue to be slaves, come into the agreement and into the contract, into the alliance, begin to get around to them. Stand, they should not settle for such kind. The time for such has passed. For talking about the stipends that they get from guiding of pipeline, and all of that. That time of stipend has now. They should be looking at the real deal and becoming free indeed. That is where the real deal is. That is where the money is. See it. What all these guys who are clamoring, who call themselves militants, what they do is that they seek for self. Tasari has made himself a lord, has made himself a king, has made himself a king over his people. To him, because he has few people who are working for him and few people he is using to terrorize them, and he collects the contracts, and he alone is enjoying it. He's building school, he's building that, he's building the contract. He gets the contract, not for him, for the people, not for his people, the job people, not for the terrible that place looks. But all they seek is their militancy is not for the people, it's for get a contract and they feel like lords. The same spirit of the Nigeria contraption. They feel like lords and their people become helpless because they have the arms and ammunition. Rather than taking the arms to help them and get their people to benefit from it, they use the arms and ammunition to gain self-fame and wealth and all of that. All they do is use the arms for themselves, and their people are suffering. That's the problem in the riverine area. They always think of themselves. They get the money from the contract, they get rather than fighting for the freedom of their people, all they're thinking of is fighting for contracts. All this is very shameful. This is not it at all. This is so painful. The people, their land is looking like a terrible, like a place, a dry place, a place of no wealth. Yet they take care of their Islamization program, takes care of Abuja Accord. It's coming from your end. And all you are doing is to fight for pipeline guiding to guard. You should be asking for taking over what belongs to you. You have now become the servant who is sitting on the horse, and you, the king, walking on bare feet. Think of how you are going to get your people, and then you begin to manage it within yourselves and begin to feed your people and make your nation wealthy. Thinking of you are fighting amongst yourself. You say your fellow Ijoman is enslaving you. So you have 2 levels of slavery or 3 levels of slavery. Britain enslaving the Fulanese, and then the Fulani, your co-militant, and then your co-militant enslaving you. So you can imagine. So you believe that what you are supposed to be doing is to guard pipeline. That's what you believe. You think that is the sit in comfortably, and you're happy carrying your weapons and brandishing your AK-47 and all your and all you could do with all those weapons is to be asking for guiding of pipeline. All those weapons that you're carrying them. So if you are shot and you are killed along the line of brandishing those weapons, you will get contracts to guard pipeline. Come on, our people should be thinking right. Our people should be thinking. That video, people who know those people who gave them Arise TV should tell them that the business, the pipeline has passed. We have passed that stage. We are talking about freedom. That is with all those their RPGs, all those their weapons, all those their AK-47, and come, let us now fight freedom. The fight have started. Of course, you heard Mazi saying it. We're giving them water. We're giving them coming in. They don't know where they're going. That is how it's going to happen. They're going to come with the helicopters. They're going to come with everything. But RPGs and all of that in those Ijaw areas. Those of you who have not joined the alliance, come out and join the alliance. Freedom comes. You will not beg to be a pipeline guard. You will not beg to even get a job. The contracts you want. Let it be that your nation, Ijaw, gets its own independence and freedom. when you get your freedom and independence, you are now guarding the pipeline. Good, that's a good one. Because now it is for your people, for you, not begging under the auspices of Nigeria. The Fulanis are coming with their men feet, and they have their men in government. They have taken over power. They have hijacked what belonged to you, and then they are coming with their farms and everywhere, and they are killing you, and all you are still asking the slave masters to do of guiding the pipeline for them to be sucking the oil and buying more weapons to kill you. That is the level of respect any right-thinking Biafran. That is why I said the colonial mentality, the mindset of dealt with so many of us that we need to begin to think of psychological reorientation, because we are doing this talk and discussions and videos so that our people begin to think deep. Why would you subject of carrying weapons and risking your life in the creek and doing all of that just to guard pipeline? We leave our area. We own this oil. We want our freedom. We want to control our resources. Not talking about guarding pipeline, not talking about moving in that dimension. You are just putting yourself in degradation. In this generation, we don't need you to be carrying weapons just for you to be. You shouldn't be carrying AK-47 in this generation. Maybe you did it during Yaradua period, and the momentum for freedom had not come strongly. Maybe you did it at that period and that time. Yes, you did it. But when we are talking about freedom, where you can see with your eyes that your land is about to go. These people are actually, is it that we people, this militants and this Ijoba are talking about pipeline garden? Is it that they don't see what is happening? Is it that they don't know what is happening in the landing? They don't see how they are advancing? Is it that they don't know about this Abuja declaration? Is it that they don't even know all out to enslave you? Is it that they don't see all these things, or they don't understand it, or they see it, or they charm them down? This is very critical. The time for struggling for past. This is the time for freedom. This is the time to fight for freedom. That is all of you in the creek. Come out and all those your weapons, brandish them for freedom. Don't brandish them to tell them to keep you in slavery. When you are asking for pipeline guard, you are give me the business that will keep me continually in slavery. You are only telling them that you are fighting them not because you want to be free. I can't carry a weapon on AK-47, carry my RPG and all of that, and all I'm fighting is decision. Why? Then why do I risk my life with all those stuff? Why do I risk my life carrying all those weapons? If that's in the creek, that video I saw is very repugnant, and it's shameful that they are given the position to guard their own pipeline in their own community. It's Ijob brothers, for God's sake. What is really wrong with our Ijob brothers? They should begin to think right and think straight. Anyways, this particular broadcast is actually not on them. Maybe I'm going to do a special broadcast to talk about that. But now I want to Mazi, Nnamdi Kanu and Peter Obi, they are not on the same level. They are not on having the same calling. They are not having the same direction. They are not having the same. Now you should understand some things before you take some actions. Some of you who have decided to mess up with the spiritual direction or the spiritual dictates of Biafra. Those of you who have decided Biafra and the spirit that is behind the call for Biafra freedom. Most of you, this broadcast, ones who are thinking of election, and those ones who are talking and hailing so as the one who is now their Messiah. It is so unfortunate that our brothers and our people about and they are short memory, and they are short-sighted. It's so unfortunate that our people betray you, especially when you stand for them, when you stand for the truth. It's so unfortunate that our people about the good that you've done suddenly when you're out of the scene. They always want to stand with those people, those who are happening now. When you're happening now, they stand with you. And when it's as if something has happened to you, they walk away, somebody looking for somebody else to gain attention and all of that. It's so unfortunate that our people, in spite of wise, it's so unfortunate that our people will see the hell the Fulanis have been bringing to them, taking over Kaduna, which is even the seat of the strength of Nigerian forces, have their headquarters. It's so unfortunate that our people will see such kind of Fulanization program being executed in their very eyes, and yet our people will be in the source which Chukwu Okike Abiame has given for our freedom. It's so unfortunate that our people fight themselves and fight what will benefit them. It's so unfortunate. I'm looking at this script and see how our people are now replacing Mazi Nnamdi Kanu in their lives. Where that level of comparison came from. I don't know how our people are thinking and how our people are trying to place things and how our people are doing things and all of that, and how our people reason and all of that. It's obvious that some of our people, anyways, they are minority of the minority. First, I have told you, if you like, be a saboteur, if you like, be a betrayer, you will never stop our freedom. You will never stop it at all from coming. The freedom of our people will be actualized and we'll get our freedom. 2023 is our year of freedom, going straight in our freedom and becoming free. Nobody will stop it. Nothing can stop it. Nothing can replace it. Nothing the Fulanis will do that will stop it. There's nothing Britain will do that will stop it. There's nothing the world will do that will stop it. There's not world will do that's to stop it. Their Abuja declaration cannot stop it. Whatever they are doing cannot stop it. Just like you heard someone said, he knows the day, and that's the truth. He knows the day Biafra is going to come. Mazi Nnamdi Kanu knows the day Biafra will come. This is a top secret, between them, and of course the program towards that is being carried out. So if you are there and you have thoughts about it and you are thinking that because you are here, you can now begin to carry somebody else as your leader and as your say to that going into another election is endorsing another 4 years of British control over your life. So if you are going towards that direction, you should know that is why you must understand the concept of what you do or the implication of your action. You should understand that this period and this time is not for you to look for another leader. Now, let me tell you something. Most of you who are replacing Mazi of what you are doing, those of you who are going for election, you don't know the implication of what you are doing. You are indirectly telling the force that is behind the fight for freedom. You are indirectly telling himself, you are indirectly telling God that what he has instituted and designed, that Mazi Nnamdi Kanu leads the people into freedom, you are no more part of his. You are now replacing Mazi Nnamdi Kanu in your heart. Before you begin to do that, let me analyze this to you, because some of you have done that already. You have replaced Mazi Nnamdi Kanu for being in your heart, rather than Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, because you think that maybe you think that Chukwu Okike Abiame think that it is time for you to go into Jamboree. Maybe you think that if he's in prison, when Moses went to the hilltop, he went to the mountain to see the 10 commandments. He left. He was off. When he left for 40 days, the people were clamoring. And they say, it seems Moses. If Moses, then it simply means that maybe we have to look for our God. We need something that will represent our God. Let's worship. So we need something that will represent the God that we see, that we worship. Since Moses is here, people always say Mazi Nnamdi Kanu is our savior. Yes, we understand in the context of what we mean by being our savior, but he's not it. That he doesn't represent God in the light of whatever we're doing. He's only God. And so when the people were saying savior, it was like when the Israelis were now seeing Moses as a God. Took him to the mountain. What they did now, they now try to look for another God. Now, it is good to believe in somebody and to believe that a savior and all of that. But it is not good to replace those people in your heart as God, because God is. Nnamdi Kanu has always rejected it and said, yes, you can call me your savior, you can call me all of that, but don't make not your God. There is Chukwu Okike Abiyama who is leading me, Elohim who is directing me. He's the one who called me. And so understanding that will now make you understand how to deal with the circumstance and situation. And Nnamdi Kanu has gone to the mountaintop to receive the covenant and to receive the fire to lead up the zoo. However it comes, it doesn't matter. Some of you will say, but he was captured. He didn't actually come by himself. He was captured. But the truth about it is that there is a way God does his things. God had to do it in that way, and then he will lead the people into the freedom and lead us into our freedom. That is the tactics and the way of it. You cannot mock it. You cannot change it. He is now in the zoo, and that is the course and the system of the autopilot mode, which of course has been positioned to lay the way straight, just like what John the Baptist did. He laid the way straight and made the path straight for the master to come in, laying the way straight. He has brought the alliance. He has brought everything together. Now, Mazi Nnamdi Kanu will directly into that declaration and into that freedom. He will now stand in that ground of the freedom, and then he will declare it, and our flag will be raised, and all of that will be done. So now, Moses did, and now the people are asking for golden calf. The people are building their different gods. Mazi is a path of truth. Those people he put in charge try to build the golden calf. They begin to build. Of course, they are the ones who made him the Fulani government, and they begin to build the golden calf to rubbish what Mazi Nnamdi Kanu started. What God understand, Mazi Nnamdi Kanu is born to rescue the people. Is born for the people. Now, if you begin to chase after freedom, after election, when you go to elect, it is a universal suffrage. It is called universal right. When they say you have the universal suffrage, adult suffrage, it simply means that you have the right to vote an adult. I think the universal law says when you are 18, it depends at 17 or 18, or elect and to vote, and to be voted for. And then, of course, what institutes in democracy, your vote institutes the person who leads you. Now, if you look at the Nigeria contraption, the guise of the word democracy, of course, but they need to use something like that. Takia, use the name, or it look like you are actually the one voting in who is going to lead you. But it's a Takia. Democracy in the zoo is Takia. It is meant to mislead. They all be your ruler, because that person is from the caliphate. The caliphate endorses that person, given the mandate, whether you like it or not, no matter if you come out to vote for anybody, and that person takes the date, and then does the will of the caliphate itself. It is represented as democracy in the contract. So now they tell you that you're going for, already they have chosen who is going to lead. They come in to do, because they know and they have in mind that universally, for them to be recognized as a government democracy, or they need to conduct election. And in the eyes of the world, once you conduct election and you tell what happened, whether it was rigged or whatever, once you announce a winner, the world will recognize you, and you can do recognition of the world. And so what they want to do is to make sure that you come out and elect out to vote. But they already know who is going to take control. So they use democracy, a means of proving to the world that they have met the criteria which the world demands to. So you go there and you think you are voting, whereas they have decided what they want, and they take over whoever they want to install. And then you say you have elected somebody, but you haven't elected anybody. You only elect is your business. You now fall into the trap of the takia now by being part of the election. You now endorse community, another 4 years rule over you, another 4 years of British control of your. So when you do that, that election simply means that you have told the world that you are part of this. And remember, they have been killing you. Of course, the world will depend on the people you have elected to help you. They won't do anything about it. When they come in, they talk about it. They will ask the people whom you have voted doing. And those people will give them any story they like. Just like when, Boris Johnson, was asking and talking to, Al Sudani, who is now disguising as who is wearing the mask, was asking him what is going on, and he said, people are attacking. Yes, we know, handling it. They will ask, and they will ask for the asking sake, not because they're interested. They know what is happening. Democracy by voting, which is of course the takia, which is meant to kill you. It's when a lie becomes accepted, for the use of actually subjugating you and for the use to enslave you. In Islam, it is accepted when they have to tell a lie. In Islam, there's something called takia, when to use it as a means, any means that even if it is a lie, to make sure that they are able to get slavery and to make you their slaves and to kill you and to take what belongs to you. That's takia. So democracy is a means of electing your leaders. You are seeing it as a means of instituting somebody and help your society and help you to achieve what you want to achieve. They are seeing it as a takia to install who they want. Now, what they did now is this: if you are seated in allowing that takia to stand and to be used against you and against Biafra freedom, and you are fighting directly with the spirit of Biafra. Now, what does that mean? Peter Obi was installed by the Fulani Caliphate. Of course, you remember he went to Britain. In the course of going to Britain, that was when he now decamped to Labour Party. That Atiku is going to take this thing. Of course, this first of all took Atiku. The APC waited for PDP to install the president. It does not matter to them. It is what they want. It is their Fulani program that is on ground. So the issue of you are the one looking at it as political party. You are the one who is looking at it as, okay, we are voting somebody from here. They are differently. They are looking at these things differently from the way you are looking at it and seeing it. Installed Atiku, and Atiku becomes the flag bearer. Now they say, okay, we're going to balance this in who is from the south. Of course, we know that the south is not actually where the leadership is going to come from. That we want the Fulani to be in control. However it is, even if the south, even if APC didn't vote, we know that the person who is still there is also a Fulani, which is the vice, which is Shetima, who is in the APP and the APC. They now balance it up. Then now they now say, okay, we'll make it a balance. Peter Obi, you're going to play this game. We have your documents in our hands. You are a criminal. We can deal with you, but we want to be just like your master, Mazi. Your master Nnamdi Azikiwe. You play the game. So you are now going to go to another party. Of course, one of the parties that people are always voting for is Labour Party. So it will be like a balance. Now people are saying, okay, you have the opportunity now to vote for, especially those people who are from Biafra land. Since you are talking about power shift to the southeast, it looks like a balance so that there will not be chaos. Now, remember, we already know who's going to vote, who's going to be there, but if you don't win, of course, you will not win. And however it is, we know how the election will go. And to go in the south, they are bringing in their fighters and all of that. They are going to be the ones to declare the votes. They will tell you millions of votes have come from it. And Peter Obi, you are going to play the game. And then after the election, we're going to give you a position that and all of that. Even we know we are not going to win, but you are going to so it becomes a takia to put and front Peter Obi in your face as Biafra, so that you would think that you are voting, whereas they are using it as a means of takia. So Peter Obi becomes a takia and it's to freedom. So when you replace Peter Obi in your heart and you are screaming democracy and election that you are believing in the takia and you are endorsing the takia of the Fulanis, because takia as a means, democracy, using democracy as a means of takia against you. Now begin to replace Mazi Nnamdi Kanu in your heart. When you embrace democracy are using, you are actually indirectly saying that Mazi Nnamdi Kanu is no more the one Elohim to free his people. Because what the people want actually is freedom. What we Biafrans want is make yourself an anti-freedom person. You have made yourself anti-freedom, which means that you are against the precepts of the Spirit. You are against what the mandate of the Spirit you have designed and said. You are against us going to our promised land. You are against what will represent the expectation of Biafrans. So you have allowed yourself to be used as an instrument of, because the takia is to deceive the people and make them feel that they're going in to elect somebody who is going to be there. There is that it is a deception instrument, a deceptive instrument, by positioning Peter Obi of the takia, who is an instrument of the takia to mislead Biafrans and to make them think Putin will be counted. So by you clamoring for Peter Obi, hearing the effectiveness of takia in your life, and you have already displaced and you have replaced him with the concept of Islamic takia over the plate of God's people. And that means that your world of Biafra will be a doom to you. Now, remember, I told you when I began this broadcast, I said, whatever you do will not affect, but you replacing Mazi Nnamdi Kanu in your heart with Peter Obi, you are a Biafra doom will come. Because you will end up not enjoying it. Those of you who are clamoring for election, you are not much. You are few of you. Some of majority of you ignorantly doing it. I mean, it's so unfortunate, especially for those ones who are ignorantly doing it. You will become all caution will come upon you as those people who have been bribed to fight Biafra spirit and to fight. Now, if you have now replaced Mazi Nnamdi Kanu in your heart with Peter Obi, it simply means the sort of takia in Islam, which is the word of deception, to make the people think that the votes will be held and then the vote to bring out a winner who is going to be truly a democracy in the zoo is takia. It is meant to deceive the people to look like they are keeping to the of getting leadership. And then, but what they are indirectly doing is that they have decided who is going to win. They have decided that Fulani Caliphate have already decided what they have based on their Abuja 1989 decided what will happen. They have already decided the leadership. They have already decided to Islamize. They have already said it's now a takia. It makes you look. It is presented to you as if we are still in democracy. Democracy is an instrument of world recognition. So they understand that democracy is from to vote. The world sees it as you have elected. So they keep the word democracy in the concept in you. That becomes an instrument to use to deceive the world or to make the world relax. Okay, the people so they use that concept of takia against you so that you now think that you are also doing the democracy. We're in a democracy. Let's vote. Go and vote. Cast your vote. Cast your vote for Peter Obi. Let's change the narration. Let there be a narrative, a positive revolution, a bloodless revolution, a revolution by election. Because the concept of Nigeria's operation is the concept of takia. That is what's meant by takia. Democracy is takia. It is a concept of the system that they want. Is the installation of who they want through the Fulani Caliphate. They install a caliphate. They decide, they already know who is going to take over in the 2003 election. They already have decided who they want to give power. That is the Fulani decided. It is already concluded. It is already stamped and sealed by the Fulani. Now, to make that thing work, they need you to work in the process of what is called the democracy. Understands and recognizes democracy. That is why, that is why aside in Ukraine, they believe that they have the rights to do whatever they want to do. So the Fulanis also know that when the world to recognize them and support them, they have to institute, or they have to go with the word democracy. You are in a democratic system, and they allow you to elect, even if they know who side, and make the kings in the palace of the Sultan. When they make the kings in the palace of the Takia, which is called democracy, in the concept of Fulanization. In Fulani's strategy, and its democracy does not work. Democracy is not recognized. They recognize their leadership by appointment of this person to lead us. So they now recognize that, and then now they use democracy as a Takiization program. So what is the Takia? The Takia is presented to you now as democracy. Now, you as somebody who believes in democracy, of course, we also believe in the world. The world is democratic. The world believes in democratic process of global acceptance. And you now jump into it. We want to elect. It's time to elect another leader. Going into democracy, you are going into election. You are going into your right to elect who will rule you, and of course, and all of that. Even your right to be voted for. You now think you're and decided who is going to rule you, and then you now think you are in the norm of democracy, whereas they are to mislead and to subjugate you. And then you now go through the process, and then the reason why they must, if you don't go for that election, the world will not recognize them. The world will come against them. The world will say, no, this people, give them what they want. Okay, now they didn't vote you, so that means you have to call for force you into election. One of the ways they did it is to make sure that Peter Obi stands, so that their mind from what they are thinking, and think that, okay, since Peter Obi is here, and what we've been clamoring for is to have somebody who is going to come in as president, they will quickly, and all of them will embrace it and vote for Peter Obi. In their hearts. I'm sorry, they are going to replace Mazi Nnamdi Kanu in their heart and put Peter Obi. That is abomination. Peter Obi is not appointed by the spirit. Peter Obi is not appointed by the gods. Peter Obi is not appointed by anyone. Peter Obi is not appointed by the spirit, appointed by Elohim to rule God's people, to lead the people into promise. What Elohim has designed, what Elohim have designed for us is our freedom and concept of freedom and total liberation from the Nigeria contraction in the Fulanization program, and setting the people has designed. And that is what the Spirit have designed. The Spirit of God have designed that, and that is Kanu. Now, when you now accept this concept of democracy, these people that these people have used as God's people, you now become an instrument of self-subjugation. We now replace Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, who is chosen by God. You have now replaced him of Takia, an instrument of Fulanization, an instrument of faith against God's people. That's what it means. So you must be mindful. Peter Obi is an instrument of Takia. I'm in my next broadcast, tomorrow's broadcast. Before the fundraising, I'm going to be coming up to talk about this, about the Takia. Obi is a Takia. How Peter Obi is an instrument of Takia, so that you people will begin to wonder after election. All your mind is election. We are going to vote. We are creating revolution. You are being deceived. What you are doing will not stop our freedom. That is the painful part. You are just killing yourself. You will not stop our freedom, then you will now face the consequences of your action. That is the truth. So I'm going to be talking more on this tomorrow by this same time, Biafra time. I'm going to be talking about this Takia, how Peter Obi has become the instrument of the Fulani hegemony, the Fulani caliphate, to use him as an instrument of empower our lives and also making us flow in that realm of Takia and to deceive every one of us. I'll reveal, you will know what it means and what that Takia represents and how Peter Obi is being used as an instrument of Takia. And then so that people will begin to think right and think rightly. Thank you so much for joining me. My name is The People Listen to Truth and let them get the truth. If the truth shall make you free, you shall be free indeed. So the people on all your social media platforms, so that the people will hear the truth